Good evening. My name's Bob Connors. At 6 p.m., I'd like to call the February 3rd meeting, the Newbury Conservation Commission to order. Mason, can you please read the preamble to the remote open meeting law and take a roll call of members present?
As a preliminary matter, this is Mason Ferret, Conservation Agent of the Newbury Conservation Commission. Please permit me to confirm that all members are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Mary Rimmer, Dave Clifford, Mick Brown,
Yes.
Harry Trout, Woody Knight,
Yes.
Frank Wettenkamp,
Yes.
and Bob Connors.
Yes.
Good evening. This open meeting of the Newbury Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Harry Trout's just joining us now. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Newbury Conservation Commission is convening by Zoom call as posted on the agenda of the Conservation Commission section of the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Applicants or their representatives may be called upon to speak and/or share information to the screen if able on the fly. Rimmer is joining. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda, but before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your microphone. Please use earbuds, and please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Board and committee members should be called upon in a first name alphabetical order to ease the process. After board and committee members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will first seek questions through the chat function. When participants are using this function, please list your name, address, and then your question. The chair will then seek questions from the public who wish to speak. They'll be asked to identify their names, addresses, and questions, and once the chair has a list of all public commentators, they'll call on each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comments. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mason. All right. Upcoming meeting dates, March 3rd and April 7th. All right. First order, meeting minutes review for the January 6th meeting. Can we take a moment to review those for any comments, corrections, or concerns?
Bob, I wasn't at the January 6th meeting.
Okay, well then, Harry, you don't have to vote on it.
And I was not either, Bob, so I don't know if we have a
Okay.
quorum for that one.
Woody, Mick.
Yep.
Yep, we do.
Okay.
We have that.
No,
Okay.
no changes, Bob.
Okay. Any changes, anyone? Woody, you okay?
Oh, looks
Frank?
good.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the January 6th meeting minutes as written.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
Woody and Mick. All right, roll call. All in favor? Woody,
Yes.
Mick,
Aye.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors. Okay, next meeting. Meeting minutes review for the January 20th meeting. Why don't we take a moment to review those, see if there's any comments, corrections, or concerns?
I make a motion to approve as written.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay, thank you, Harry. Roll call, all in favor? Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Mick,
Abstain, I was not present.
okay, Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay. All right, first order of business is a certificate of compliance for DEP file number 050361 37 Annapolis Way. Applicant is submitting a request for a COC for an expired order of conditions. An order of conditions was issued to a previously constructed home that was lost to storm damage. Mason, why don't you give us a quick update and overview on this? You're on mute, Mason.
Excuse me. Yeah, this is an outdated order of conditions. This is from 1988 for 37 Annapolis Way. If you look at the order of conditions, there are no special conditions that you know make the make it obvious on any of the extent of the project and things like that. There was no attached plan or even written plan on the order of conditions. And it's over 30 years old at this point. I was able to drive by the house today. There's no ongoing work done, and since then there has been a newer notice of intent filed. An order of conditions was issued, and then that project was also closed out as well.
Yeah, so just background, because this actually is next door to me. This was, Tom Nee was the owner back in 1988. He had built a new home. It was lost due to storm damage in 2013, as I recall. And then a former member, TJ Conti, and his wife bought it, filed for an order of conditions, built their new home, and got a certificate of compliance issued. In a recent title search, this old order of conditions came up. So they're looking to clear the title on it. So that's the background of it. Questions? Any questions, Mary? Any questions on this one?
No, thanks, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Woody, any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Woody. Mick, any questions?
No questions, Bob.
Harry, how about yourself?
Nope, no questions.
Okay, and Frank, any questions?
No, no questions.
All right, David, welcome. We're just on the first order. It was a certificate of compliance for 37 Annapolis Way. I can feel the pain of you driving in traffic back from Burlington.
I'm surprised. I came in on two wheels into my driveway. I'm surprised there's no state police following me. So yeah, tried to make it.
Okay. So David, I don't know if you heard if I just noticed that you had joined the call. This was a expired order of conditions, a certificate of compliance, really just clearing up the title. A new home was built, new order was issued, certificate of compliance was issued, closing that one out. So we already have a quorum on the vote. So if you want to just abstain, that'd be fine.
Yes, I'll abstain. I didn't hear that. Like I said, I just sat down, so I apologize.
Okay. All right, Mason, any raised hands from the public at this time on this matter?
Seeing none.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 37 Annapolis Way.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, all in favor. Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Mick?
You're muted, Mick.
You're on mute, Mick.
Sorry, aye.
Okay, Frank?
Yes.
All right, and David, you're going to abstain, and I vote yes. Okay,
I am.
that's all set, Mason. Great. Okay, next order of business is request for a determination of applicability. Newbury Upper Green project. The town of Newbury is submitting an RDA for proposed maintenance work at the Upper Green. Mason, can you provide an overview and a recommendation on this matter?
Yeah, so we had discussed this a while ago, where the town wanted to do something with the upper green. We had talked about vegetation removal, treatment of the water, and things like that. And ultimately, it was decided that we should come in for a formal filing, because it is a resource area. So myself, DPW have been working with the DeRosa Environmental Consulting crew to get something permitted for some maintenance activities, to make some improvements at the upper green. So Evan is here with DeRosa Consulting, and she is going to present on behalf of the town.
Okay, Evan, welcome. If you just give us your name and then your association with the project.
Hey, good evening, Commissioners. Evan Gavendran of DeRosa Environmental. I am here on behalf of the town of Newbury to talk about our request for determination of applicability number 2 and number 3 for some activities to improve the water quality and open water habitat at the Upper Green Pond. I can share my screen if that's okay.
Certainly.
I think this should work. No, slow down. All right. So I'm sharing the RDA text for now. I just thought I would go through what the proposed project elements are, and then I have some the planting plan I can go through and some photos. So Mason gave a pretty good introduction to the project. The town had reached out to us for help figuring out how to improve the water quality and open water habitat at the Upper Pond Green. As you know, the quality of the pond has deteriorated over time. It's become rather shallow with a buildup of soft sediment at the bottom. So we had consulted with a pond management expert to try to figure out, okay, well, what are the best strategies to help manage this pond over time without having to dredge it out and have direct impacts to the land underwater body. So we are proposing to install a single surface aerator, which would be placed in the center of the pond. And it would connect to the existing electrical outlets that are already on the site. This aerator would be installed to help circulation and get some the oxygen levels up in the pond. And that would be installed in the spring through the summer, and then it would be removed each winter. In conjunction with that, we would implement this muck biotics bacteria treatment, and this only works when the oxygen levels are higher. And it's this product, they're probiotic tablets. So it's kind of like emergency tablets that you would put in your water, and it dissolves and it helps, you know, with your immune system support. This is similar. So they're tablets that you put in the water, and then it goes down and it breaks up that soft sediment, that organic matter that's built up at the bottom. And then we are also proposing to install a buffer strip in the buffer zone around the pond. And this is to help basically filter any inputs into the pond so that it would help protect the water quality in there. And it would be all native plantings, low maintenance. We included a long-term operations and maintenance plan so that we can prevent woody invasives from occupying the space. It would only be mowed once a year just to help keep that habitat alive. And the last is we included the use of herbicide treatments, and this is only in there for like an as-needed basis. There has been a significant amount of spikegrass that has occupied the pond now that the water levels are down. And we're hoping that the use of the aerator, the buffer plantings, and the muck biotics will help manage that more. But just in case it does keep growing and takes over more space, we would like to include the use of herbicide treatments to control that spikegrass or any other vegetation that seemed to have grown in there. That would be used on an as-needed basis. We would be applied by an herbicide or a certified herbicide applicator. So those are the activities that we are requesting a negative determination for. I can show the planting plan. So as you can see, it'll go around the perimeter. Here, it'll be mowed once a year. We include purple coneflower, common yarrow, lupine, bergamot, New Jersey tea, milkweed, switchgrass, red fescue, little blue stem. So that'll help with diversity. It's all lawn now, right up to the edge of the pond. So it'll improve diversity, habitat, and a buffer for filtering nutrients. And then I do have photos just in case. So here's the pond. You can see where the water level should be at. It's much lower. There's a huge buildup of organic material and there's the inlet. It's the only inlet to the pond is from a storm drain from High Road. And here's historic aerials. So it's been there forever. That's pretty much the gist. If I can answer questions.
Yeah, so Evan, just a quick question, and you may have already covered this. The existing vegetation that was on the within the, I'm going to call it the upper edge. Originally, that's what the town wanted to remove that vegetation. Is that still happening, or is that where you're going to be doing the herbicide treatment? What happens to that? Just so in a layman's point of view, what happens to that?
Yeah, so the idea is to not directly, go in there with any machines and remove that or pull it out by hand right now. Our hope is that by putting in the aerator, using the muck biotics, putting in the buffer strip will kind of help in other ways so that we won't have to come in and remove all that. We kind of want to wait and see how that does before we go in and use the herbicides to try to remove it.
What is the timeline on that treatment when you determine it's a success, or we move on to plan B?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. All of this is largely dependent on funding and budget. So I know that the aerator, the muck biotics, and I believe the buffer strip plantings, Mason, correct me if I'm wrong, those are all planned to go in as soon as possible given the permitting. And then, maybe a year later we'll reassess to see how it's working, and then go from there.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Evan. I'm going to open this up to the members. Mary, questions for Evan on this project?
Yeah, thanks, Evan, for the presentation. This is something that the town has been wrestling with for a number of years. And I know they've had aerators in this pond in the past, and also a bunch of different treatment methods that they've tried in the past. So, it's good to see that there's an effort being put towards improving the water quality there, which is largely impacted by the stormwater runoff and the geese that land in the pond. My understanding is that there is an outlet, or at least another inlet. There was another project we had, I think it was on Bittersweet Lane, Bob, that Tom Hughes was involved in, and there was a perennial stream that was, I think he said, was connected to this Upper Green Pond. Whether it's an inlet or an outlet, I can't recall. But if it's an outlet, it discharges eventually to the Little River, which is in part an ACEC. So that was my first question.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think you're referring to this one here.
Yep. And it does show right under your red line on the actual USGS map a connection to that pond.
I see. It's on like the GIS data layer.
Yep.
Yeah, so I know Mike had gone out there and searched high and low and walked around to try to find that connection, and we couldn't. So we did write up a little narrative on that.
Flow towards it. Okay. Yep. All right.
We think that it just kind of ends here into this low spot depression.
Okay.
And it doesn't, there's no culvert or anything below the road that actually reaches to the pond.
Yeah. It's interesting because the USGS map shows it as a perennial stream, which became a problem for that other project where it was upstream. So that's helpful information. I mean, it may be that it's defunct or buried or no longer functional, but it looks like it might have at one point been the drainage that fed to this pond. Couple quick questions about the planting. Are you using live seed? Are you using seed or live plantings for the buffer plantings? Is that seed mix or is that? Oh, gallon pots. Okay, you've got gallon pots. Okay, they're live plants. And there's a bunch of cattail at the north end there. Is that going to stay in place, or are you targeting that as well?
There's no plan to manage the cattail at this point.
Okay. And then the monitoring, what type of monitoring are you going to be doing to determine how successful this is? Is it, dissolved oxygen or vegetative growth or turbidity? What are you looking at?
That's also a good question.
Mary always has good questions.
She
Just thinking
does,
ahead.
doesn't she?
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. I think what the town was looking for is solutions for the least maintenance possible.
Mhm.
So I don't think
Yeah.
we did include like a long-term monitoring and maintenance protocol for the plantings, but
Okay.
not necessarily for the water
Water
quality.
Okay.
So if that's something the commission would like, we can
Well,
put something
where
together.
this has been kind of an ongoing thing where lots of different things have been tried and failed, it'd be nice to be able to understand sort of baseline pre and post treatment somehow
Mhm.
to be able to have some benchmark for success.
Right.
I don't think that anything you're proposing is going to have an adverse effect. I mean, I guess that would be my only question is there some sort of a longer term monitoring plan that would be able to be provided as part of this? And
Mhm.
maybe that's something that we could make a special condition about, and that could be submitted after approval. And you can negotiate that with the town. Which department are you working with for the town? Is this DPW?
DPW is the applicant, but I've been speaking with Mason as well.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
So those are my thoughts. I guess that's at this point. Thanks, Bob.
Okay. Yeah, I think Mary, you brought up a very good point. Evan, what would be great is if we knew what the oxygen levels are now
Mhm.
and what is the target level for the oxygen levels via the aeration system.
Okay.
But in this time of year, we won't be able to determine that, obviously.
Right.
So it's,
Well, I'm just saying for the
yeah.
ongoing monitoring,
Exactly.
it-
They could
when-
just,
when
yeah.
they put the system in, it'd be great
Yeah.
to document
Pre-post.
the oxygen levels and then so this would so Mary, I mean typically we would want to have if we decide this is a negative determination, we would still recommend that there be a pre-construction meeting with the agent prior to the start of any.
Sure. Mhm.
And at that point, I think if we could record or determine the oxygen levels, and then with a follow-up memo to Mason, targeting what the levels we want to reach for the levels to, create more of a healthy environment here and to initiate this, this process that you're looking at to remove some of this vegetation
Mhm.
or organics. Okay, Mary, anything else? I'm
Yeah, just
rambling
at
here.
the previous project, I remember there was some kind of innovative pilot treatment using some kind of beads. Some of the members might remember this.
I
And
remember the aerator. I remember the aeration.
the
there
aerator was there, but then they had some professor that had some thought of that. I can't remember exactly what the beads were going to do, but obviously,
It was
maybe they worked for a while and they're not working anymore.
Yeah.
if I may, I think there was some sort of a algae.
It was an algae problem, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. And so it was specifically for that. I see that there's a huge algae problem, but eventually the pond needs to be dredged, and that will solve a lot of the problems, but that's the more expensive solution.
Exactly. That is what has been recommended, but there's a huge cost to that.
So these are just Band-Aids, yeah.
First steps.
For
Yeah.
now,
Okay.
what we can do for now.
Mhm.
Mary, anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Woody,
Um,
what's you're a historian on all this stuff. What's your recollection of most of this?
I know that was a pilot, proposed as a pilot project for experimental algae removal, and I remember the person who was doing it, don't remember his name, but he was reporting success, but that was out there for a while and it's gone now. But I think I think from what I've heard tonight, and a lot of good comments and questions, but what I've heard tonight, raising the oxygen levels in the pond to make it healthier would be a big help. My only question is, on on years when we have a lot of rain and the pond's full, these plantings that are proposed, they'll thrive and still survive on when the water levels are higher?
So yes, the plants are proposed. Forgive me, I'm don't know how filled this pond gets. But the plants we are proposing are FAC up and upland species. There's a few FAC, but none of these are obligate or wetland species that can stay underwater for long periods of time.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I
other than-
imagine in a rainy scenario, the water would come up, but it wouldn't stay up there long enough to kill the plants.
Okay. That was my only question and kind of concern, but other than that, no, if I have anything, I'll speak up.
Okay, thank you, Woody.
Thank you. Yep.
Mick, any questions on this project with Evan?
Just one, Evan, and just maybe back up and take more of a 40,000 foot look. And I apologize if I missed this in your presentation, but what is the overall objective for this project? Is it to preserve, the aesthetics of the feature or public use or reduce, maybe public health issues associated with, bacteria or like algae in the water and things like that? Like, what's the overall objective?
So yes, the upper green is used for recreation and it's for, public benefit to preserve the open water habitat that this pond provides. So that's the goal. Right now, the open water habitat has diminished because of the organic buildup. The water level depths are not at optimal, heights. There's a lack of oxygen, so it's eutrophying right now, which is
Right.
what we're trying to slow down.
Yep, that was my only question. Thank you, Evan.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Mick. Harry, any questions on this project?
Oops.
I don't know
Muted,
if we
Harry.
lost Harry. Okay, if Harry.
Yep.
Harry-
So you Evan, you had mentioned that, this is, I don't know, the third try in doing this. There was multiple tries, multiple scenarios using aerators to help. What makes you believe that this is going to be different than what we've done in the past?
So I actually did not know that there was multiple attempts. I think one of the commissioners had brought that up. But we had consulted with Wetlands and Waterways, which is a land and pond management companies that see these types of ponds all the time. And they put together these recommended actions for us based on the goals of the town to what we just talked about, preserve the open water habitat for the community in a budget-friendly way. So yes, ultimately, dredging would be the best way and the quickest way to achieve these goals. But taking that option away, these are the next best things.
Well, if it's best, why hasn't it worked? Right?
I think they didn't keep up with it, Harry.
Oh, okay. So budget cuts or something, and they took the resources and moved them somewhere else, and that's why it failed.
The contract ran out. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just hate to take good money and throw it at it, and it's gonna have the same situation down the road that it's gonna fail again. My opinion.
I think this is more a stopgap measure to see if we can stabilize it so it doesn't deteriorate any further. And I mean, I think the biggest problem here was the vegetation going in there, the water level dropping, and then the geese, just taking over the whole area. It became, the neighbors were not that happy. It wasn't that pleasant to look at, and hence the upper green. Usually we want it looking better than it does. Um, but Harry, you bring up a good point. Evan, would it be just a simple order of conditions to do dredging on this? Or would that, where it's not a waterway, the Army Corps wouldn't be involved, that would still only be local permitting and state permitting? Am I correct on that, or?
It's yes, but you also need the 401 permit for dredging.
Okay,
And
but that's still state.
That's still state, correct?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Harry, anything else?
The inlet that you reference, the runoff, is that causing a lot of this issue? Because some of this water is dirty, it has sediment in it, it might have chemicals from the salt roadway that we're dealing with right now. Sand, is that what's causing this issue as well? Do we know that some of the problems or what's causing these problems that we're dealing with?
I think it's a large contributor. I don't know that it's the only reason why, but I think it's a big contributor. It's untreated stormwater runoff.
Yeah, and is there anyone looking into maybe trying to address that as well?
That is a good question. I don't know if that is possible for the town at this point.
Yeah, because I hate for us to spend all this money and then all of a sudden a big rainfall comes and all that junk gets washed in there, and it's just I can just see this never ending.
It kind of goes to, Mary's point, if we can, condition some sort of water quality monitoring into this, we could, sort of measure, okay, what inputs are going into this pond, and then we can bring that information back to the town so that they could use that for decision making down the road.
Sure.
I mean, to your point, Harriet, one of the things, the pH levels of the water from all the salt going in there, what impacts does that have on the overall water quality?
Mm.
Yep.
So, I mean, so I think it would be very good to have a baseline of what the pH levels were and the oxygen levels at the start of the project, and then use that as a baseline for monitoring. Nick, did you have your hand up at one point?
No, I'm all set, Bob. Thank you.
Okay. Harry, anything else before?
No, that was it, Bob. Thank you.
No, I think it was a good question, Harry. And then, like I say, the pH levels would be an interesting
Mhm.
data point to find out about. Frank, any questions on this one?
No, I'm all set. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, David, how about yourself?
No, I mean, this probably falls outside of our area of responsibility, but could we put something in there that said this is a no salt zone, so you minimize or eliminate the amount of salt that goes into that area?
It's a state highway, so we can't.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Mary.
The
Yeah,
1A,
it's
it's a state
state
managed
highway.
highway. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm assuming that I mean, again, this probably falls out our area of expertise or responsibility, but these are typically solar powered, and they plant them in, they have a mooring for them in the middle of the field or the middle of the pond. And then so I don't think, will neighbors have a problem with that or no? Or is it some other type? I've seen something like solar bugs when I was in another town, and
Yeah, this is being plugged into a 110 outlet that already exists in this area.
oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the storm drain, as I recall, when we were building the police station, the hydrology was done there because we had stormwater. And there was confusion whether the high water behind the fire station and the police station was heading towards this pond or it was vice versa. There was a great deal of confusion on that uh, at the time, I forget what the final determination was, but it was part of the analysis that was being done on the police station project. But Okay, any other questions, team, on this one?
I have a quick one for Evan. Just what's the width of that planting zone around the pond?
Width of 10 feet.
Oh, 10 feet. Okay. So that will also help to filter like the
Yeah.
any runoff from the fertilizers that are used to on the lawn there. So
Yeah.
capture some of the organics that are coming towards.
Goose poop, yeah.
So that's a positive wildlife habitat benefit too. So that's great.
Okay. Mason, do you, I'm sorry, Mary, anything
Nope,
else?
that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Mason, any questions from you on this?
No, not right now.
Okay. Mason, are there any raised hands from the public on this?
Seeing none.
Okay. The one omission, Evan, is I don't see where the diving board is being located in this pond, but or the swing. We need to put a tree there with a swing so it gets properly utilized.
I was thinking slide, Bob, but yeah.
Yeah, the Newbury Upper Green Water Slide. There we
Yeah.
go. I think we could do a GoFundMe for that, Mick.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have any questions. Do any members have requests for a site visit or any additional information? I think we all drive by this thing on
Right.
pretty much a daily basis.
Daily, yeah.
Yeah, several times a day. Okay, I will entertain a motion to issue a negative finding in the Upper Green project.
So moved.
I would second that with some conditions.
Yep, okay, yeah, because I had timeline for monitoring plan, pre-construction meeting with the agents, measure oxygen levels and pH levels at the start of construction. What else did you want to include, Mary?
I had work to be overseen by a wetland scientist, which is stated on the plan, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yep.
That they provide a pre and post monitoring plan rather than specify what to be monitored, Bob. I think that might be better because I'm not sure pH would necessarily be too instructive in this case, but if they could provide a pre and post water quality monitoring plan prior to starting the work, that only native plantings be used in the planting zone and that herbicide application requires 14-day notice to the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, no, I think it,
Okay.
Mason, you have that if you, okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Mary has added conditions. And any further discussion before I call for a vote? Okay, roll call, all in favor? Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Mick,
Aye.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Thank you, Evan.
Thank you.
Okay, next matter is 280 High Road. This is an application, the replacement of a rubble foundation in a buffer zone. The applicant has withdrawn this request and it'll be eliminated from the future agendas. Okay, next matter is another request for determination of applicability. For 41 Northern Boulevard, applicant is submitting an RDA for the enclosure of an existing deck and the installation of new footings. Mason, can you give us provide an overview and a recommendation on this project?
Yep, so this is all within the existing footprint. There's a wraparound porch on this. Let me pull up the plan real quick, and they're proposing to close it in. And then, like the description says, with new footings. So no new impacts here, just replacing in kind with new footings.
And the footing types were, you said helical or diamond pier?
I believe that's what was proposed, but we can double check with the applicant. I can share this, and if the applicant wants to introduce themselves. Oh, you're muted, Quint.
How's that? Can we hear
Yep.
Yep.
you? Okay.
Hey, good evening, Quinn. If you could just give us your name, address,
Yep.
and then make your presentation. Welcome.
Yep. Quint Caldwell. I live at 26 Mudnock Road in Salisbury, Mass. And I'm the builder for John Fischera to remodel this. And you are correct in assuming that we're going to put diamond piers in there. The walking situation out there is very tight, and we don't want to, complicate any dune grass or whatever. So we would be pulling up the decking from the inside of the building and working from the inside for the majority of the work.
Okay. So no outward expansion, the footprint will remain the same, Quint, on the,
Footprint is remaining the same. We're
Okay.
using what is existing that's there.
okay. And you're proposing diamond piers replacing what's there now? Are they
I can't tell.
solar
I haven't been able to get in there to look, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah. I think the only thing we would ask if they are existing concrete sonotubes that you remove those prior to placement of the
Absolutely.
diamond piers.
Yep.
Okay, why don't I stop there and open this up to questions from the members? Mary, questions for Quint on this project?
I was just looking up where this is located.
You-
The only question is this is one of those that fits into the RDA versus NOI, it's sort of within the footprint of existing work. It sounds like the diamond piers, can they be installed by hand so you don't need heavy equipment out there? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And it's hard to tell from this plan where the colors don't show up very well. So can you highlight that for me, Mason, where the addition is? It's going around the utility room and then,
In green, this is what's being enclosed here.
okay,
And then in
Oh,
red,
okay, so it's on the
This
front,
is-
it's on the lower part of the plan, not the, okay,
oh, okay, that was
And
not clear to me.
yeah.
Okay, that's being added,
Yep.
and then the green
And
is,
then I believe that this is two.
No,
So those are existing porches that are there.
yeah,
So the utility room area is an existing porch
It's an existing deck.
that you're proposing to enclose. Okay, so the
Yeah.
footprint hasn't changed. Okay.
Right.
so the red, is that correct? Is that what you want to close in?
Yeah, we want to build that little utility room.
Okay, and the green, where it shows covered deck, is that all coming out?
No, that all covered deck is basically staying. We're removing all the decking to work on the inside for the diamond piers. And I don't know how many are going to go in there because we have to do it to code. So I have to figure out basically how many are needed for that.
Okay, I still don't understand what's happening in the green. You're taking out the flooring and then putting in deck, new supports. Is that being enclosed as well?
Yes, so that green along the front of the building is all being enclosed.
Okay,
And we're removing the wall on the inside of the building to the front door where the door swings in.
okay,
The three walls are coming out, and
Okay.
we're enlarging the inside of the house to the front of the deck.
including that front closet area?
That front closet is the existing deck. We're just going to close it in. Yes,
Okay,
correct.
so that it's coming all the way to the edge of the existing. Okay,
Yes.
and then what's the difference between what you're doing in the green and what you're doing in the red on the other side?
Okay, so the red on the other side is there's an existing deck that has to be rebuilt and removed. So we have to put in a stronger deck of the same size that's there to hold the utility room and the bathroom.
Okay. So now that's sort of new construction and, demolition and new construction, still within the footprint of the existing
Exactly.
covered deck. So they're both being added. It's just that you're rebuilding the deck on the back.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll
And
be
you're gonna
rebuilding the deck in the front too to make it
Okay.
capable of holding.
I guess it's just the key is a little confusing because it doesn't clearly say what's happening in each of those areas. And there's another crosshatched area. I guess that's just the removal of the walls. Okay.
That crosshatch, yeah, that's an interior removal.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Bob. That's all I have for now.
Okay, so Quint, I just have a question. Mason, can you drop that plan down a little bit so we can see more of the utility room and bathroom? Or raise it up, I guess.
Yep. 1 second.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Now, what is that other lines around the backyard there? Is that fencing?
Where that deck, no, that's actually like a California seating area around that deck.
So the deck is that big?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So this interior section of the deck is what you're going to reinforce and then
Correct.
fully enclose. What's happening with the rest of that deck?
Well, the deck has failed, so it has to be replaced. So we're gonna
So
put
that,
it. We're gonna make it the same. It's the same size. We're just gonna remove the whole frame and put the frame back.
okay, yeah, I mean, we're just missing a lot of details on this, Quint, as far as, so that entire, what's the area of that deck back there? It looks like we were doing just the red and the green area, but now that expanded area,
Yeah, that
is
deck
gonna
is
be,
286 square feet.
okay.
It's 12'6" by 22 feet long.
Mhm. Okay, well, I just think we need to add some more notations on this at a minimum to identify the entire scope of the work. Um, I think you've mentioned there's not going to be any expansion of the footprint,
No,
but you're probably going to be adding diamond piers to the back deck as well.
absolutely.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to hold there and open this up. But Mary, anything else? And I'll circle back too.
Yeah, thank you. I
Okay.
think having a plan view, showing the lot and the house,
Yeah.
so there's some context would be helpful.
Yep. Woody, questions for Quint on this?
Well, I just have the comment that maybe a few more details would be helpful, but I have no questions at this time. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Woody. Mick, questions for Quint on this? Mick, you're on mute if you. Did we lose Mick?
No, I'm here.
Okay,
No, Quint, thanks for joining us today. No, I think, excuse me, what would be helpful to us is once you can get eyes on the project, be, I think, helpful to us to see where the diamond piers are going to go, like how many piers are going to be installing, what's needed. I think so. Just as Mary and Woody have said, just a little bit more detail in the plan that'll help us.
Oh, I totally agree. The building
Yeah.
inspector needs, more detail in order for anything to happen as well. So
Right.
we're in the process of getting that, drawn up.
okay.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, Quint, you're premature coming before us, I think, because once you have those plans done for the building department, I think, because it's going to show, you're going to have a plot plan showing lot coverage and this and that.
Yep.
But that's kind of, we almost need the same package and then we can make a determination for you at that point.
Absolutely.
When is that package going to be?
Within a week.
Okay. Okay. All right, Mick, anything else before I move on to?
No, I'm all set. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Clint. Appreciate
All
it.
right, Harry, questions for Quint?
No questions, just the same concerns, just more information, more visuals to help us make a determination here.
Okay, thank you, Harry. Frank, any questions for Quint on this?
No, none at this time.
Okay. David, how about yourself? Any questions?
No, I have no questions.
Okay. So, Quint, what I'm going to suggest is I don't think the commission can make a determination tonight based on the limited information that we have. I think the information that that is coming, that you're going to be presenting to the building department should satisfy, if not all, most of the questions we had on just the exact scope. You're going to have to identify your spacing and where your diamond pairs are going to go so that it matches code. So at this point, what I would suggest is you ask us to continue this to our March 3rd meeting. And when you get that information, come back in.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Okay, does that sound good, team?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Quinn, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you on March 3rd. Once
Yep.
you get that info, get it over to Mason, and then he can distribute it to the members.
Absolutely.
And, but thank you.
Thank you for a preliminary look at this. I appreciate it.
Okay, great. All right, next matter is a new public hearing. Does this have a DEP file number yet, Mason? This is on the Newburytown Beach project.
It didn't when we posted the agenda, but it does now. So it's file number 0501459.
1459. Were there any technical comments on that as of yet, or is it just?
I can double check.
Yes, the natural heritage
Okay, yeah.
comments are required.
Okay. Okay, so new public hearing, DEP file number 0501459, Newburytown Beach project. The town of Newbury is submitting a notice of intent for the removal of debris and the reestablishment of existing beach access ways. Mason, could you give us an overview on this?
Yeah, so this is another project that the town was interested in completing, and so we had reached out to the DeRosa consulting team to get some help on this. There's various different public access ways on Plum Island that the town wants to reestablish and be able to maintain for the future. Right now, over the years, we've had sand blown in or wash in and kind of, mess up these paths and make them a bit more confined than we'd like for public access ways. So the intent of this is to remove some of the obstructions that we have in these public access ways and reestablish clean paths to the beach with mobility mats so that we can keep people off the dune and getting to and from the beach properly. So yeah, Evan is here to present again on behalf of the town.
Okay, Evan, just
Share.
give us your name and association of this project and give us your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Evan Gavendran of DeRosa Environmental. I'm here on behalf of the town of Newbury for the proposed notice of intent application on Plum Island to install seasonal mobility mats and remove miscellaneous debris from several 10-foot right-of-way access ways to the beach. And I can share my screen. All right, so I just have the DEP NOI portal up just to show you that, yes, we did get a file number. And the only technical comment is that we need natural heritage comments before we can close the hearing. I have been in touch with both natural heritage and DEP analyst on this project just to keep things moving. So the town has reached out to us for help with permitting the placement of seasonal mobility mats. They would like to place it at 35th Street, 17th Street, which is across from Mad Martha's, 7th Street, 5th Street, 3rd Street, and then this town property here at U0220.
Do you have, are you referring to a plan? Could you put it up, please, if you?
Oh, it says my screen sharing has paused. Let's see.
Because we're looking at the data portal, so.
I'm gonna have to stop share and reshare. I see when I moved. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay. How's this? Can you see
There we
see
go.
my screen now, the plan?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Yep, so here's 35th Street. This is the most north access way. And then working down, we have 17th Street, 7th, 5th, 3rd Street with the conjoining parcel map U2 lot 20. We have Plum Island Center, the intersection of Harvard and Fordham Ways, and then the access at Temple Boulevard. So the town would like to put seasonal mobility mats at each of these locations, varying from 5 feet or 3 feet wide to 5 feet wide. Each of the mobility mats will have a perpendicular or T-like end at the beach end so that anybody with mobility or access prohibitions can then turn around using those T sections to then go back the other way. Those will be placed seasonally before and after nesting season, so it won't be interrupted, which is April 1st through August. So they'll go in before April and removed after August. And this will all be done by the town seasonally, possibly with the use of equipment if needed. I think they were looking to use just a smaller skid steer to help with this. They're also, so they had hired a third party to help review any obstructions that were on town land throughout the Plum Island access ways. And the third party reviewer came back with several areas where there was either snow fencing or makeshift steps that happened to encroach into these access ways. So this application is also proposing to remove those obstructions just to make accessibility clear and comfortable for the public. So Plum Island is Berry Beach, as you are all familiar, so impacts are to dune and beach. You can see in some of these areas that there is sparse dune vegetation within the access ways. So the intent of this is to maneuver the placement of the mobility mats as much as possible so that the least amount of dune vegetation would be covered as possible. We did send a copy of this application to Natural Heritage. They have, I believe it's 30 days to review and come back with a letter. So we're still waiting on that. But that's the gist of the project. I do have, this is the mobility mat that we're talking about. So it's this blue polyester-y fabric that they'll place down. And then I do have photos. We use Mass Dot pictometry viewer that actually had 2025 aerials. So there's this photo appendix attached to the notice of intent application that shows these access ways. So here's this is 3rd Street. So you can see that there's no fencing that sort of encroaches into the access way. So that's part of the debris. And then this is that U220 parcel. There's a small portion of the makeshift stairs that encroached onto the property. So that's proposed to be removed. This is the Temple Boulevard. So no vegetation will be covered here. It'll just be along the path that's already existing for the seasonal mobility mat. Here's the intersection of Harvard and Fordham Way. Again, very clear access, no vegetation coverage here. Same at the Plum Island Center. This is 5th Street. This one will be able to be maneuvered so that no vegetation coverage, maybe just a small portion. Here's 7th Street. This is 17th Street, across from Ed Martha's. Pretty defined path here. And then this is the 35th Street. So this one has the most vegetation, but I think the 3-foot wide path should be able to fit for the most part within what the path that's already established. Excuse me. But that's pretty much the project. I'm happy to answer questions
Okay,
if you have any.
great. So members from the questions from the members. Mary, questions for Evan on this?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Moby mats. They work great when they're in place. Getting them in and out can sometimes be more of an impact. And so I'd like to have some more information on how that would occur to minimize that, and also whether or not the town adds sand, does any nourishment on these paths to keep them from, becoming valleys, too deep cut through the dune. I don't know, maybe Bob may know something about that. But they do have roll-up mats. The Moby mats are pretty light and can be removed. They come in sections that are connected together, and those can be rolled up by hand and don't require equipment. But if they're going to be using a wood mobility mat, that'll be heavier, and that might require some heavy equipment. So if you could, it seems like we're going to have to continue this because we don't have natural heritage comments tonight, but if you could provide that information at the next hearing, that would be helpful.
I think we have it. So we talked with the DPW, and they have equipment on hand that they would like to use. So they are proposing to use, yes, debris removal may be conducted by hand if possible, or by the use of a 48-inch wide tracked skid steer. So that's what they would also use to help place and remove the Moby mat.
Yeah.
Additionally.
Yeah, because they can do some,
Yeah.
they can create some a fair amount of sand movement as well
Okay.
during installation, depending on how they're operated. So that would just be the only concern, that this would be a different.
Okay.
We
For the
have
next
to wait and
meeting,
see, how it's implemented and whether or not putting them in and taking them out are doing more harm than good than having them in place during the season when a lot of that sand is accreting anyway. So that would be one question I have. And the other one is about your time of year restrictions. Getting them in before April 1st. I mean, that's not very long from now. So that may be really early some years to be able to accommodate. And so you may, in your conversations with Natural Heritage, try to work out, a management plan so that if this work is done under the supervision of a monitor, or, a shorebird monitor or something, that you have some relief from that, those time of year restrictions, so that they could put them in later. Because I think that's going to it's still, a lot of potential storm damage happening that time of year. And it could be a really early installation that might present a problem. They will work with you if you have a habitat management plan. One more step, that the town will have to undertake to do this, but it's just something to consider so you're not tied to that date.
No, Mary, excellent points. Typically, every spring, and they usually wait till about just before Memorial Day, and some years they have to bring in sand just to restore the bottom of the right of way where a scour may have washed it out. And any type of putting down Moby mats or sand prior to that time frame, you don't know what you're going to get for storm damage at that point. And I think you bring up an excellent point that having these mats to be installed at a later date with a proper monitor, they go in rather quickly. The property owners in the Pitter Hall had supplied Moby mats in some areas already. Harvard Way Extension, which is shown, has had a Moby mat there, I think, for the last 4 or 5 years. And it goes in rather quickly, comes out easily. The dilemma is the washout at the very bottom, at the toe of the dune where it reaches the upper beach. If wave action has eroded that to a point that sand has to be added. Then you get into almost a public safety aspect of it. But so Evan, I think adding some component there we're gonna have to wait for the natural heritage letter, but I would give them a heads up, as Mary suggests, that the reality of the way king tides and storm action happens, that these mats may need to go in at a later date and with the proper monitoring, the plover monitor or whatever.
Okay.
I know we've done that on some of the other IDAs, Mary, on, I think, the Blue Hotel, when they were having some work done to get stairs done. And we were able to work out something there, but I think excellent point. All right, I'm going to start. Anything else, Mary, before I move on?
Just that you might want to add to this order the potential for doing some sand nourishment as needed. I don't know if it's in there already, but rather than having to get a separate permission for that, if some repairs are needed to these paths in terms of elevation, that it be included in this filing.
Good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. You have to have one with the other. So, no, excellent point. Okay, anything else, Mary, before I move on? I'll circle back, obviously. Okay, Woody, your thoughts on this?
Well, thank you for the presentation. Very, very informative. Some good comments have been made already, and I don't have any questions. My only comment is I do agree with what's been said already by Bob and Mary that we do get some interesting storms in the month of April. So to have some measures to have a alternative plan to put some of these in later on in the year would be great. So, and that's all for now, Bob. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Woody. Mick, questions for Evan on this one?
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Hi, Evan. Thanks again for the presentation. A couple of quick questions. Just, I'm not familiar with these mats. Are they rigid? Are they flexible fabric? Like,
They
yes?
are flexible. So I put some, so that's the picture of it. Here's a close up. It's
Giant Scotch pad is what you want to visualize. I mean, it's a heavy woven plastic fabric that will let water and a little bit of sand penetrate through it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And are they just pinned like with stainless steel pins or?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the only thing I maybe speaking out of turn for the rest of the commission, but some of the proposed locations suggest removal of beach or dune vegetation. And my only suggestion is, can they look at alternative locations where there would not be vegetation removal or some type of redesign? I know there's, from 37th down to Plum Island Center, I think there's 4 access points. I mean, that's about a mile and a half, maybe. So that's quite a few access points. And, do we really need all those access points if some of them are going to require that vegetation be removed? So just a consideration going forward, other alternative locations, like if 37th is going to remove vegetation, can we move it to 39th or a little bit, south of that or north of that or something like that? That would be my only suggestion. But, and I'm assuming that the whole, goal here is to provide, disabled people access to the beach. So it's primarily an ADA compliant project. So, yeah, that was it. I think just look for alternatives. If we're going to remove vegetation, can we move it to another location? Can we move or reduce the width and still be ADA compliant and not remove vegetation if we don't have to.
Sure.
Yeah, Mick, the one thing is we're locked into public right of ways. One of the big things down here, and I can speak for myself, the shortest distance to the beach is where people want to go. I mean, we have people cutting through our yard on a
Absolutely.
on a daily basis, and
Yeah.
it. So I think that's part of it. The problem is they haven't been maintained, so the sand
Right.
drifts in, vegetation creeps in.
Yep.
But these are also emergency access points to get people off the beach if we have an injury or a drowning or
Yeah.
something worse. So
Yeah. Overall, I think it's a great project. I mean, really
yeah, it's
provide
long overdue.
access
It's long
and
overdue.
egress,
Yeah.
like you said, emergency egress is a great thing. So yeah, I just say if we can minimize removing vegetation, then we can work that into the plan, then it's best for everybody. So, yep.
There maybe there's an area too where we can put vegetation. That
Yeah,
could-
replacement areas are fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else, Mick?
No, thank you. And thanks, Evan.
Okay. Harry.
My only question is, how'd you come up with the access points? Because I know that access points down in the southern part of the island have the Moby mats already. I know several neighbors that put them in and take them out. Are you replacing those, or are you adding to the length of those?
I think it's to get them permitted so that the operation of removing them and placing them is covered by an order rather than just an ad hoc
Okay,
neighborhood thing.
okay,
I mean, I
Okay.
think they could, I mean, you're 100% right, Harry, because down at Temple, I think you have one of these. You have one at Harvard,
yeah,
that I know of. So
yeah,
there could be some collaboration there, what's existing and
yeah.
what's not.
Well,
But
well, I know the northern part of Newberry on the island needs them because I see a lot of people walking all over the dunes and to get to the beach
Right.
on a hot sunny day. So I think
Mhm.
they truly make a lot of sense. So I do not have any questions. Those were just comments. So I'm all set. Thanks, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Harry. Frank, any questions or comments on this?
No, I have no questions. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, David, any questions or comments?
The only question was, I'm not sure, there's a lot of ramps and or access points. Just curious kind of how that was defined, how determined. Do you need that many? And the problem is, I see is a parking issue as it always is on the island. And is this going to drive the need for handicap parking spots and things like that, people with access issues? So just curious how they look at that, how these things are linked either directly or indirectly.
Yeah, so just being out here for a long time, these are already used by people, neighbors, people that, obviously if you live on the water, it's pretty direct route to get to the beach.
Yeah.
But if you live on the landward side of Northern Boulevard, heading west, these are early access points. And I'll be honest with you, if you took a vote of everybody, they'd want 20 more access points going to the beach. No one wants to walk another 50 feet, never mind another quarter of a mile.
Oh, sure.
So, but no, I think it's a good question. We're not going to get to eliminate a beach right away. I think Mick's point on if there's some area that we have a substantial amount of vegetation that needs to be removed, if it can be transplanted into adjoining flat, a sparse area, or at some point down the road that there's an area that needs to be revegetated, we can quantify it and tie it in somehow. But
Yeah, I think my thought was more if you reduce the number of access points, but you made them more inclusive, so you had parking for someone that had some folks that had mobility issues. Is that the better thing? I don't know. It's just more just a thought that was going through my head as we're reviewing the slides.
yeah, the Moby mats provide an opportunity for someone in a wheelchair. The elevation and slopes are going to make it somewhat challenging, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But the reality is there's on-street parking by permit only, and there are no handicap parking spots at these. These are really more public access that someone could probably use for handicap access, but
I got you.
they're just pathways to the beach. The MobiMat just adds that dynamic to it, but okay.
And could I say something, Bob?
Yeah, certainly, Woody. I'm going to circle
Uh,
back to everyone, so.
But I'll just say real quick and be over with it. By providing these mats and these access ways, it will give people a path to stay on as opposed to trampling the dunes because it'll be an easier
Right.
form of egress. So in the long-term scheme of things, I think that they'll actually make things maybe a little bit better and keep people off of areas that they currently wander now. So
You bring up a good point. The impact of vegetation may improve by having defined areas rather than just random pathways going whichever way.
that's all. Thank you, Bob. Sorry.
Okay. Mary, I'm going to circle back with you. Obviously, we got to continue this till we get the letter from Natural Heritage, and we're going to have to,
Yep, I don't have any further comments other than, they're public access ways, so that the public is already going to be using all of these access
Right.
ways. This is just to minimize the impacts of the access during the peak season. But I think that, Mick made a good point about minimizing the vegetation impacts and replanting where if there are going to be impacts. So
Mhm.
using the 3-foot mat instead of the 5-foot mat in some areas might be preferable. So there would, if there's some flexibility there, and using the narrower paths.
Yeah, I think the key is going to be pre-construction with the agent
Yeah,
to map this all out and resolve whatever issues there are. So Evan, I think you got some feedback. I think the key takeaway is the time of year putting these in and using a monitor if that would work with Natural Heritage during nesting season. And the maintaining the public right of way after storm damage.
Mm.
Okay. Right now, they have to add sand to certain areas during certain, high erosion periods. Right now, we're in a period of accretion where that's not necessary, but it should be part of what they're doing on maintaining the right of ways.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I'll definitely reach out to Natural Heritage.
Mhm. Yeah, they should include trash stations and doggy waste stations, and I think a water fountain at every right of way as well would be preferable, but
Umbrella
Obviously.
stands, maybe, yeah.
yeah. Mason, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, I have a member of the public with me here that would like to raise a couple questions and make a couple comments.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to get into that. I just wanted to make sure we were through deliberating with the members. Okay, anyone else? Any other members have any further discussion?
All set, Bob. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, are there any raised hands from the public at this time?
Yep. We'll
Okay,
s-
well, Mason, why don't you?
Yep, we'll start here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Peter Erickson, 48 Northern Boulevard. Explain my presence here. I have a notice to abutters looking at the agenda online. I saw that it's on Zoom, but I did not realize that the meeting is only on Zoom. And so when I arrived, Mr. Farrick was kind enough to let me look at his screen. And I just have one question. Where I'm located is our house is one away from the Mad Martha's beach access.
Mhm.
And I am 1,000% in favor of these MobiMats to get people to the beach. I've never seen, we've been there for almost 30 years now. And I've never seen any damage caused by them. The sand is always moving. Right now, the beach is healthier than I've seen it in 30 years, and I owe a lot of that to the Merrimack River Beach Alliance and to the Conservation Commission. So my question is very simply, on the notice to abutters, it says here that to install the seasonal mobility and debris removal. My question is, what debris is being removed?
I think in the presentation, Eric, it was existing snow fencing that encroaches within the right of way that would interfere with the placement of these Moby mats. And there was one old abandoned set of stairs that looked like that was also in the way. Evan, do you want to, am I correct on that,
Sure.
that comment?
Sure, yeah. So Mr. Chair is correct. The town of Newbury had hired this third party consultant to assess any obstructions within several of these access right of ways. They put together a letter just of areas where they noticed encroachments, and most of them were, snow fencing and makeshift stairs and pathways. So that's the debris that would be proposed to be removed.
Do I understand you to say that the debris to be removed is only debris or fencing that is obstructing the right of way that the Moby mats will be occupying?
Correct. Those access ways and the parcel map U02 parcel 20, which
Yeah.
is by the 3rd Street
Yeah, yeah.
access.
Okay, just by way of explanation of my concern, I'm going to leave something here, which these are photographs that you won't be able to see on Zoom, but I'll leave them here in the office. This happens to be from the year 2023, when a lot of debris came up and washed at the toe of the dune. And by the end of that summer, that debris had captured windblown sand, and amazingly, the same dune grass is contained in that debris that comes in from the ocean, and grass began to grow. We've had 2 summers since then. And so as the grass grows, it accumulates accretion of more sand. And every time the debris comes in, within, a couple of windstorms, the debris is covered and the beach is a couple of inches higher. I could show you places where the beach is 4 feet higher now as a result of flotsam and jetsam that has come ashore. So I'm really been following this, and I'm really very concerned that we let the beach alone in a way, just do its natural state at our end of the island. I think the island is very balanced in terms of the use. There are places towards the center.
All right, Peter,
we're active.
The matter before us tonight is the right of ways, Peter. So whatever comments you have on that, we want to stay focused to what's on the agenda. These other topics are not on the agenda for tonight.
Okay, I
get, wait,
apologize.
no, I get, we get your message and we get your empirical knowledge.
Okay, thank you. I think you've answered my question.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Who else was? Okay, if you just give us your name and your address.
Hi, my name's Sue Costigan, and I own property at 337th Street and 120 Northern. I don't know if you remember me, but I was talking to
You do.
last-
There's a house being built right across from your house, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Evan sort of encouraged me to join tonight, mostly to say even though you're not proposing 37th Street, it is a very busy access. I love the idea of the mats, and mostly because of Woody's comment, the time that I've been able to spend watching the comings and goings, it's not so much people that don't stick to the path, but their dogs, and then the people cleaning up after their dogs. So I love the idea of the paths for access. I've never seen anyone attempt getting to the beach in a wheelchair, but I have seen people with walkers trying to make it to the beach. So I think this would make it better for them. But I also just wanted to throw out the idea of some signage at the beach accesses, like they have on the northern tip of the island, explaining why you might consider staying on the path and not trekking across the dune. So it's a little off topic, I know, but that was all I.
No, but that's a very, very good point. We have some signage, I think, at every right of way regarding during nesting season and managing dogs. So I think it's a very good point to bring up, Susan.
Those signs, though, are right when you're getting to the beach instead of when you're getting on the path.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I guess.
no, I think your suggestion of adding additional signage is a good suggestion.
And I'm also suggesting you consider 37th Street access for a mat. Someday.
It would, well, I would think it would make sense to incorporate it now and have it part of the order of conditions. Mason, why don't you talk to Mason and Evan, why don't you talk to the town on that? That there's been a request to add 37th Street.
I will.
It
Absolutely.
makes more sense to me to have everything incorporated in one order of conditions, so we don't have some orphaned right of way that will need work and then it's not covered and that creates another fiasco. Okay,
Absolutely.
Susan, anything else?
No, thanks a lot for listening.
Okay, thank you. Mason, are there any other members of the public with a raised hand?
I believe just Dave Clifford has his hand raised.
David. Dave, you have a comment or a question?
I think this is really great about having public comment because I think I didn't think of the dogs, and I don't have a dog. I love dogs. I want to get a dog soon, but I think her point on the dogs straying off the paths is very, very well put and is a concern. So I think that's a great comment, and I appreciate her comments on that point.
Yeah, and I think additional signage is we've come a long way on Plum Island. For the longest time, we didn't have trash barrels at Center Island. We didn't have a doggy duty station at Center Island and some of these other areas. And we've come a long way. So I'm happy the town is progressing in this direction. Okay, are there any other comments from the members of the commission or from the public?
Seeing none.
Okay, so Evan, there's no action we can take tonight. We typically are probably going to want to do a site visit at prior to voting this, especially for those that don't live on the island. I know Mick wants to walk down each one of these to make sure the rest of us, we've been down them too many times. So are you
Are you calling me a
requesting?
flatlander, Bob? Is that what it is?
No. Mick, I think you're looking for how the duck hunting might be on this.
I absolutely, yeah. The more waterfowling access, the better.
So Evan, are you requesting a continuance to the March 3rd meeting?
I am. Please.
Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to March 3rd at the applicant's request.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Harry, Woody. Okay, roll call. All in favor? Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Mick,
Hi.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David, and
Yes.
Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, thank you, Evan.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, next matter is a continued public hearing. Make sure. Does 45 Boston Road have a DEP number now, Mason?
They do not. They just got their abutters list at the end of last week and should be sending out abutter notifications and preparing for the March 3rd meeting.
Okay, so the applicant has requested for a continuance to March 3rd.
Yep, they have.
Okay, so the 45 Boston Road applicant submitting a notice of intent to expand existing boardwalk systems within proximity to bordering vegetated wetlands they're requesting a continuance to the March 3rd meeting. So I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to March 3rd at the applicant's request.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, roll call, all in favor? Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
yes.
Mick,
Yeah,
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. All right. Next matter is DEP file number 0501455. Old Newbury Golf Club applicant is submitting an NOI for golf course maintenance work, including tee box relocation, tree removal within the buffer zone areas. Mason, what's the status in this?
So they're going to be requesting a continuance, but a couple quick updates. They just submitted in some revised plans yesterday, so those should be in the folder. They were able to get out into the field to do their wetland delineation and then put that on an updated plan. So that's the update for now, and I assume that the board will be requesting a site walk once we can see the ground.
Do you have a crystal ball on that, Mason?
I hope it's sooner than later.
I'd be thrilled just to see my driveway again. Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to March 3rd at the applicant's request.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, roll call, all in favor? Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
yes.
Mick,
hi,
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. All right. Well, you figure, you know what, team, when it comes around March 3rd, I mean, they're going to be planting at the dam on March 17th. So maybe we'll do our site walk just before St. Patrick's Day on the golf course. Okay, next matter is a continued public hearing, DEP file number 0501453, 34 Central Street. Applicant is submitting a notice of intent for construction of an MBTA residential housing development at 34 Central Street. Mason, Heidi notified me they've requested a continuance to our March 3rd. So I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to March 3rd at the applicant's request.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, roll call, all in favor. Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
yes.
Mick,
hi,
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. All right. Continue public hearing, DEP file number 0501458, 291 High Road. Applicant is submitting a notice of intent for the maintenance and refreshing of an existing parking area, boat ramp licensed under Chapter 91. The applicant is also seeking to expand marina operations by installing a series of seasonal bottom anchored floats accessible via a gangway from the parking area. Mason, can you give us an update on this?
Yep, so we had done a site walk here following the last meeting. I believe the only outstanding items that we had was the applicant and their representative were placing some of the seasonal floats further out in the channel than originally proposed to avoid hitting the bottom during some extreme low tides and things like that. So they've updated the plan. I have put the updated plan into the folder for review. And as of right now, those are the only updates that we have.
Okay. I know Tom might be at a Newburyport meeting. Is the owner available for questions?
Yep, I believe he's here.
Okay, if he could just give us his name, address, and his association, and if he wants to provide any bit of a quick overview and then answer questions.
Hey, yep. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can. Welcome.
Hey, yep. So, good evening, Chair and Board. My name's Joel Willett. I'm at 291 High Road in Newbury, and I'm the owner of the property. So happy to answer any questions you have. As Mason stated, we updated the plan showing we're pushing the docks a little bit further out so that we are hopeful to never come in contact with the bottom at even the mean lowest low water. And we also, I'll note that we drew in the vegetated intertidal area that Mary had asked for during the site walk.
Okay, 102, I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Joel Willett.
Joel, okay, Joel, thank you. Mary, questions?
And I think that the site walk was really helpful to me and answered a lot of the questions that I had. I have some notes on special conditions, but I don't have anything further.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Woody, any questions for Joel on this?
I felt the sidewalk was helpful as well, and I don't have any questions at this time. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, yep, thank you, Woody. Mick, any questions on this project?
No, Bob, thank you. No questions.
Okay, thank you, Mick. Harry, any questions?
Not at this time, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Harry. Frank, any questions for Joel on this?
No, I agree. The site inspection was good. I think it answered a lot of questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Frank. David, any questions for Joel on this matter?
The only question I have is maybe a misunderstanding, is it says that the applicant seeking to expand the marina operations, but I think you're just gonna push out the docks a little bit to eliminate or minimize the docks hitting the bottom. Is that correct, Joel?
So we're pushing the docks out on our proposed float plan. We have an existing Chapter 91 license, which we reviewed at the last couple meetings. That is going to stay intact as it operates today. This is moving out the new proposed float plan, and it's really just the connecting piece between the two sets of fingers. I don't know how to screen share to get this up in front of me, but really
That's
what
fine.
we're doing, there's a shoal there that actually touches some of our existing Chapter 91 docks. And what we've done is move the walkway out 19 feet that gets it beyond that shoaling. So that way the connection of our two fingers
Right.
should never come in contact with the bottom, even on extreme tides.
Right. Okay. I got that. I think that's good. That's how I understood it as well from the
Yep, right there.
from the site walk. So that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, anything else, David?
No, Bob.
Okay, I do not have any questions at this time. Mason, are there any raised hands from the public at this time?
Seeing none.
Okay, do any members have a request for additional information, plan amendment, or any additional content for this notice of intent?
No.
Okay, I will entertain a motion. So Mary, we're gonna
Close
I'm
the
gonna
public
propo-
hearing first.
Right, and then
Yeah.
we'll talk about conditions.
Mhm.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Okay, Harry, Woody, roll call, all in favor? Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Mick,
Aye.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David, and Bob Connors. Okay, this is the time when we talk about special conditions. Mary, what were you thinking for special conditions?
I had just jotted down a couple of quick notes. So comply with all the Division of Marine Fisheries comments. Maybe just you can attach them to the order of conditions, Mason. Storage of the floats in an upland location. Pre-construction meeting with the agent. And then they have a stormwater feature that they're proposing. So I don't know if don't think there was an operation and maintenance plan for that. But I'm trying to decide what the best way to handle that is so it actually functions long term. But maybe just having a condition that the agent inspects it after installation and that it be cleaned out on a regular basis. And then the last is that it's subject to annual 10A harbor master permit.
Mhm. Okay, so Mason, can you pull up the stormwater feature? Is this just a a catch basin or
It's like a
infiltrator?
stone swale along, see the
Okay.
green stone swale that's along the perimeter of the bulkhead?
Oh, okay, that's all
Yeah,
it is.
that's
Okay.
all it is. It's like a,
So you're proposing that just be free of debris or vegetation, or what is the,
if it's proposed as a stormwater management feature, then it should just be, yes, accumulated sediment that, so
okay,
that if it functionally gets covered with sand, then it's no longer going to be working as a stormwater feature, so it just would need to be
be refreshed?
cleaned out as needed.
Okay. So Mason, something, maintenance of the stormwater feature. Now I guess, is that refreshing with adding new stone, Mary? I mean, what are you visualizing there? Just being that
Yeah,
if a foot of sediment comes in, are you going to try to remove that, or are you going to?
yeah, that if they may have to remove the stone, then take out the sediment, and then put the stone back in.
Yeah.
Depending on how it's constructed, it looks like it has some kind of a diaphragm around it.
It does. Yep.
Right.
Yep, it does.
Yeah. So that
So Joel,
should
is
be
there,
easy to capture.
Correct.
what is your maintenance plan been in the past, Joel? And can we memorialize it?
So currently the property has really no stormwater management plan. We have larger stones on the bottom, smaller stones proposed on top with the diaphragm around. So the idea is that the sediment gets caught in the top, and then the maintenance plan would be to potentially just have to resurface the top 6 inches, 8 inches, whatever we see for sediment, at the time of a maintenance. That's basically how that's designed to work.
Okay. Is there a notation on the plan to that effect?
It shows that section with the diaphragm and the different stones. I'm not sure if we had proposed the maintenance plan on the plan.
Okay. I mean, Mary, I think if we could condition this and that it be added to the plan.
Yeah, or a written,
Yeah,
operation
a
and
memo
maintenance
to the
plan.
file, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
be provided if it hasn't already been included.
Okay.
I think Millennium can provide that.
Sure.
Okay, Mason, any special conditions that you're thinking? I'm gonna go around to everybody, certainly. Anything you're thinking of, Mason, that you'd like to see added?
I don't think so. Did we want to put a date on the
Install and removal of the floats? What is the norm? Is it they're out by November 1st, put in by April 1st? What is the normal?
Yeah. I mean, are you asking me, Bob?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of asking everybody. I'm not a
don't know.
boater, so.
I don't know when they go in and out currently on the other side of the bridge. I don't know if there's a particular date.
I think we had done October 1st, maybe, for the private dock that we had permitted earlier in the year.
Joel, what are you doing now? What is your operational now? When do you pull them out? When do you put them in?
Yeah, so our current contracted season right now runs May 15th to October 15th. We typically get them in mid-April, and we try and get them out pretty quickly after the October 15th, end of our clients' contracts. I will say that weather in April for installing docks, can be dicey at best. So sometimes they can go in early in April. If we get good weather at the beginning of the month, we want to get them in right away. Sometimes it lags towards the end of April, so definitely in no earlier than April 1st. And then as far as getting them out, our contract goes till October 15th. So I would say they're out by November 15th, at the latest. They're typically out before the end of October. But again, if we ran into some weather events that wouldn't allow us to, successfully pull them out safely, then we would have to wait until that weather passes to do so.
Okay. All right, so April 1st install, removal by November 15th is kind of your plan. I mean,
Yeah,
is that
those
going to be
people-
regulated by their Chapter 91 permit or the local harbor master?
They have
or
an
the
existing Chapter 91 permit for the bulkhead.
Okay,
And then the docks themselves are, because they're all seasonal, they're not a permanent structure. They can be subject to annual harbor master Section 10A permits.
Okay. So April 1 to November 15th seem reasonable for install removal?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, well, why don't we put that in there, Mason? I think it was a very good point. Anything else? Woody, any other special conditions you're thinking of?
No, I think we've covered everything. Mary came up with some good ones, and the only one I was thinking of was when they go in and out. So
Okay. Thank you, Woody. Mick, anything you want to add to the discussion?
No, nothing additional. Sounds
Okay.
pretty comprehensive. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Harry, any comments or anything you want to add?
No comments.
Thank you, Harry. Frank, how about yourself? Anything you want to add to the discussion?
No, thank you, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Frank. David, anything you want to add to the discussion on special conditions?
No, sir.
Okay, I have no further comments. So Mason, you're able to quantify what we're looking for special conditions?
Yep, I got them.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to issue an order of conditions for 291 High Road with the usual conditions and the special conditions identified.
Bob, I just have one. Can I just have one comment before we wrap up here?
Yeah, you can. It's a little late in the game, though. What do you?
I just wanted to. I was just waiting for you to get through all the board members. One thing, just to fall back on Mary's comment about following the recommendation of the Division of Marine Fisheries. We discussed this in the site walk, that they had proposed any floats that come within a foot of the bottom or less, I believe it was, required a 28-inch a 28-inch foot on the bottom. And we had talked a lot about the impact on the bottom on every single tide cycle if we have 28-inch feet on our dock. So we were just asking that if we could lean on the findings of the Army Corps during their plan review as far as when it would be required that we actually install the feet on the bottom of the docks.
Well, we were going to attach the DMF's letter to the order, as I recall. And then the Army Corps follows our approval. Is that how this works, Mary?
Yes, they need the order of conditions to get the Army Corps approval. If the Army Corps approves something different, then they can come back with an amendment.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Okay.
I mean, I think, Joel, there's always a chance for a minor modification on that or an amendment if something comes back.
Sure. And I appreciate you being patient with me. I'm not.
Oh, no. Listen, it's a complex project.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, that sounds good to me. Thank you.
All right, so let me repeat. I will entertain a motion to issue an order of conditions for 291 High Road, subject to our usual conditions and the special conditions that were just identified.
So moved.
second,
Okay. Roll call, all in favor? Mary?
Yes.
Woody?
yes.
Nick?
All right.
Harry?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, thank you, Joel.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good luck.
Mason, can I just ask for you to circulate that order once it's drafted so we can take a look at that final language?
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, general project discussion. So we had the Lock and Dam volunteer planting on St. Patrick's Day. Everybody must wear green and drink Guinness. So
Not a
I just
problem.
want to, I had sent out an email, but I want it to be reflected in the minutes of our meeting. Want to congratulate Mason. Mason secured $100,000, and I'm told it's a $200,000 grant for Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program. Why don't you give us a quick update? Great job on that, Mason.
Yeah.
And I know that the town fathers are happy when money comes into the town and just doesn't bleed out all over the place.
Yeah,
Could you give us a quick
some-
overview on that?
Yeah, some good news, definitely. So it's kind of the second step in a process that the town has already started. In 2018, the town had worked with a consulting group to identify some of the town's biggest vulnerabilities in terms of climate change, sea level rise, all kind of the common themes that we're discussing when we look at things like Pine Island Road, Plum Island Turnpike, emergency access to these places, and things like that. So yeah, the town of Newbury was up as a priority town to be eligible for this award, and so we applied and were granted $200,000. So what'll happen next is a kickoff meeting at the end of next month that I'll be attending. But yeah, in summary, it's we're going to be getting $100,000 to complete the planning 2.0 process. 50,000 will be distributed upon contract execution for working with a project partner. And the final step 7 of this is going to be a $50,000 seed project where we're actually putting the money towards starting to solve some of these problems and create some better solutions.
Okay, well done, Mason. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Very good.
All right, let me go around to the members, see if we have any comments or issues. Mary, any closing comments before I ask you to
Nope,
move
good
to
job as
adjourn?
usual, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Woody, any comments or updates you want to provide?
Just no, just thank you everyone and stay warm.
Okay, yeah, is everybody else shoveled out?
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
Frank, any questions or comments you want to discuss?
Nope, all set. Thank
Okay,
you.
Mick, how about you?
No, I was just gonna say to Mason, if you are short on volunteers for planting, let me know. I work for a company full of energetic young environmental scientists and geologists who would love to come out and put shrubs on the ground. So
Wonderful. Yeah.
let me know if you need some help. I can, if not my team, I can gather up a bunch, probably get a handful of people to help out.
Yeah, we'll do. That'd be great.
Mason is going to volunteer his wife to help out. That's what's gonna
Not
Thanks,
volunteering me.
Thanks, Nick. Harry,
No,
any comments that you want to bring up?
nope. No.
David, how about yourself?
Just continued kudos for the good work on getting those funds, Mason. And I also volunteer mix people to help with the.
Me included, right,
I'm
Dave?
good like
Yeah.
you'll find I'm good like that.
I'll come on.
Yeah.
I can run a shovel, Mason. I'll come
No,
out.
but look at Mick. Everyone needs a safety engineer on site. They don't want anyone coming
Absolutely.
down with poison ivy.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no comments. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
all in favor, Mary, Woody,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Nick, Harry,
Aye.
David.
Yep.
Aye,
All
aye,
right.
aye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Great night, everyone.
7:53, we close.